7 Ways to Handle People Who Don't Respect You. Powerful Denzel Washington motivation. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. Denzel Washington. Have you ever felt like some people make it their mission to push you around? They dismiss your words, belittle your efforts, or act as if your boundaries don't exist. And the world tells you to just grin and bear it? Not anymore. At Stoic In Your Life, we're cutting through the noise with actionable steps to tackle disrespect head-on, without losing your cool or compromising your principles. This isn't just another pep talk. These are proven strategies to reclaim your power, set firm boundaries, and command the respect you've always deserved. So, stick around, because by the end of this, you'll not only know how to handle the disrespect, but you'll walk away with unshakable self-worth and resilience. 1. Master the silent stare. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. This simple idea holds immense power, especially when dealing with disrespect. One of the most underrated yet incredibly effective tools at your disposal is the silent stare. At first glance, it might seem almost too simple, just staring back at someone who's rude or dismissive. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This strategy isn't about passivity. It's about control, dignity, and shifting the power dynamic. Disrespectful people thrive on reactions. They interrupt, belittle, and push buttons, hoping to provoke anger, frustration, or defensiveness. Why? Because your reaction fuels their need to dominate or feel superior. But what happens when you deny them that fuel? Picture this. You respond to their words or actions with a steady, unbroken gaze. No anger, no sarcasm, no rebuttal, just a calm, unshakable silence. You're not ignoring them. You're making it clear that their behavior doesn't deserve acknowledgement. This isn't passive aggression. It's purposeful stillness, a statement that says, "You don't get to control me." Let me share a real-world example that taught me the true power of this tactic. During a team meeting, I found myself constantly interrupted by a colleague who seemed determined to dominate the conversation. At first, I tried politely asserting myself, but he just kept talking over me, completely disregarding my input. Then I decided to try something different. I stopped mid-sentence, leaned back in my chair, and locked eyes with him. I didn't blink, didn't frown, and didn't say another word. Just silence. Within seconds, the energy in the room shifted. Others at the table began looking at him, and the awkwardness of the moment clearly unsettled him. He stumbled over his words, and for the rest of the meeting, he avoided eye contact with me altogether. That day, he learned I wasn't someone to steamroll, and I didn't need to raise my voice to make that clear. Why does this work so well? Because silence is disarming. Words can escalate a situation, but silence forces the other person to confront their behavior. It creates a mirror, reflecting their actions back at them without you having to lift a finger. It also signals to others that you value your time and energy too much to waste it on drama or disrespect. In a world where people rush to defend, argue, or retaliate, the silent stare is a breath of fresh air and a bold declaration of self-respect. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation where someone's disrespect left you feeling frustrated or small? Maybe it was a boss dismissing your ideas, a friend making a cutting remark, or a stranger behaving rudely in public. How did you respond? Did you find yourself explaining or apologizing when you didn't need to? Now think about how different the outcome might have been if you'd chosen silence instead. Would the person have reevaluated their behavior? Would you have felt more in control of the situation? The silent stare isn't about winning a confrontation. It's about rising above it. It's a way of reclaiming your dignity without sinking to their level. But more importantly, it's a reminder to yourself that you're worth more than petty arguments or unnecessary drama. It says, "I don't need to prove myself to you, because I already know my value." As you go about your day, try incorporating this technique the next time someone tests your boundaries. Whether it's a coworker, a family member, or even a stranger, resist the urge to react. Instead, pause, breathe, and let your silence speak volumes. Not only will you feel a sense of empowerment, but you'll also notice how much more respect you command simply by refusing to engage in nonsense. Mastering the silent stare isn't just about handling disrespect. It's about mastering yourself. It's about showing the world that you won't be rattled by negativity, that you value your peace and self-worth above all else. 2. The power of silence as your response. Silence is a source of great strength. Lao Tzu. This timeless quote reminds us that sometimes the most powerful response to disrespect is no response at all. Silence isn't weakness. It's a conscious, deliberate choice, a statement that says, I refuse to let your behavior dictate my peace. Let's explore why silence, when wielded intentionally, is one of the most potent tools you can use when confronted with disrespect. Disrespect thrives on attention. When someone disrespects you, what they're often seeking is a reaction. They want to draw you into their drama, provoke an argument, or push you into justifying yourself. Whether you fire back with anger, defend your position, or even stumble in frustration, you're giving them exactly what they want, your energy. And your energy is a precious resource. What happens when you don't give them what they crave? Silence, when used correctly, becomes a wall they cannot breach, a mirror reflecting their behavior back onto themselves. It says, your words don't move me, and your actions don't deserve my response. Silence is not about ignoring the problem or pretending the disrespect didn't happen. On the contrary, silence is a form of control, a declaration that you are not willing to stoop to their level. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you choose silence, you take ownership of your reaction, refusing to let the actions of others determine your mood or dictate your behavior. Let me share a story. A few years ago, I worked with someone who loved to undermine others in meetings, often cloaking their insults in jokes. You know the type. They deliver a cutting remark, then laugh as if it was all in good humor. One day, they decided to take aim at me, making a comment that questioned my competence in front of the entire team. The room went quiet, all eyes on me, waiting for a reaction. But instead of snapping back or scrambling to defend myself, I leaned back in my chair, met their gaze, and let the silence stretch out. That silence wasn't awkward for me. It was intentional. It was heavy, unbroken, and deliberate. The person shifted uncomfortably, their smirk fading as they glanced around the room seeking validation they didn't find. By the time I chose to speak, I didn't need to address their comment directly. The power dynamic had already shifted. That moment taught me a valuable lesson. Silence can be far more disarming than words. It forces the other person to sit with their behavior, and often, that discomfort is punishment enough. Have you ever experienced something similar? Perhaps a coworker dismissed your ideas, a friend made a hurtful comment, or a stranger acted rudely. How did you respond? Did you feel the need to defend yourself or explain your worth? Now imagine if, instead, you had chosen silence, not as a retreat but as a deliberate act of self-respect. How might the situation have played out differently? Silence doesn't just protect your peace, it sends a clear message to those around you. People notice when you don't engage with negativity. They recognize your strength in choosing not to be pulled into petty conflicts. Over time, this creates an aura of respectability. You become known as someone who doesn't tolerate nonsense yet handles challenges with poise. As Epictetus, another great Stoic, wisely advised, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. By reacting with silence, you're demonstrating control over yourself, which often garners more respect than any argument ever could. Of course, there will be times when silence isn't enough or appropriate, situations where boundaries need to be verbally set or behavior must be directly addressed. But even then, the foundation of your response can be rooted in the discipline that silence teaches. Don't react impulsively. Don't let your emotions take over, and always maintain your composure. Silence trains you to pause, reflect, and choose your next step wisely. To truly master this art, start by asking yourself, what do I gain by engaging? Is it worth your energy to argue with someone who disrespects you? Or is your peace of mind more valuable? Often you'll find that staying silent spares you unnecessary stress while forcing the other person to deal with their own actions. This isn't about letting disrespect go unnoticed. It's about refusing to let it disrupt your inner equilibrium. In a world full of noise where everyone rushes to defend, retaliate, or explain, silence is a rare and powerful statement. It says, I respect myself too much to waste my energy on this. It's a skill, a discipline, and a reflection of inner strength. Not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the greatest victory lies in choosing not to fight at all. When you master the power of silence, you reclaim your energy, protect your peace, and remind yourself and others of your worth. 3. Prioritizing your peace over their chaos. Keep your mind calm. It is your greatest weapon. These words echo through the ages, reminding us that peace is a treasure worth guarding. When faced with disrespect, chaos, or negativity, silence becomes not just a reaction, but a declaration of self-worth. It might feel at first like you're letting them win when you choose not to respond. But in reality, every word you withhold, every insult you let pass, and every petty comment you ignore is a triumph for your inner peace. Imagine the weight you carry when you let someone's negativity cling to you. Now imagine setting that weight down, reclaiming your energy, and walking away lighter and freer. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our responses, and our minds. By refusing to engage with chaos, you draw a clear boundary that says, this is where your influence ends. Silence is more than a boundary. It's a message. It tells others that their attempts to provoke or undermine you won't work. Over time, those who thrive on drama and disrespect will lose interest in targeting you because they realize they can't get a rise out of you. Without an audience, their chaos loses power. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom reminds us that we are the gatekeepers of our energy, and silence is the key to maintaining control. Silence isn't always easy. It takes restraint, patience, and a deep understanding of the bigger picture. When someone tries to provoke you with a snide remark, a passive-aggressive jab, or an outright insult, your instincts might scream at you to fight back or defend yourself. Instead, pause, take a breath, meet their gaze with calm resolve. Let the silence settle like a still lake after a storm. This silence isn't about backing down. It's about stepping up, choosing strength over chaos, and letting your stillness speak louder than words ever could. I remember a colleague who thrived on subtle digs, wrapping them in humor to mask their intent. One day, in a meeting, they made a comment aimed squarely at discrediting my work. All eyes turned to me, expecting a rebuttal. Instead, I leaned back in my chair, met their gaze, and let the silence linger. That silence wasn't awkward for me. It was intentional. It shifted the energy in the room, exposing their behavior without me saying a word. They stumbled, their confidence wavering, and it was clear that their attempt to rattle me had failed. That day I learned that silence can disarm even the sharpest words, turning them into dull echoes. Silence also has a transformative power. It allows you to redirect your energy. Imagine how much lighter and more focused you would feel if you stopped wasting energy on negativity and drama. Every moment you spend fuming, defending, or justifying is a moment you could invest in your growth, your happiness, and your goals. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. How often do we replay arguments in our minds, crafting the perfect comeback or stewing over what we could have said? Silence frees you from that mental clutter, giving you space to focus on what truly matters. Choosing silence is a statement of self-respect. It says, I know my worth, and I won't allow anyone to pull me away from it. When you practice this, you'll notice something extraordinary. The noise around you begins to fade. The petty remarks, the insults, the chaos. They lose their hold over you. You become unshakable, grounded in your own sense of peace and purpose. And let's face it, in a world full of noise, being the calm in the storm is a rare and powerful thing. Not your family, not your friends, not your co-workers, and certainly not someone whose opinion doesn't align with your values. How often have you made a decision that felt right for you, only to be met with questions like, why would you do that? Or, are you sure that's a good idea? These questions can feel like veiled criticisms designed to plant seeds of doubt. Your life is not a group project, and your choices don't require anyone else's approval. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Sometimes pursuing what's right for you means enduring others' misunderstandings, and that's okay. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your autonomy. You draw a line that says, this is my life, and I don't owe you an explanation. People who question your decisions are often not seeking to understand. They're judging, criticizing, or projecting their own insecurities onto you. Their problem, not yours. When you let go of the need to explain or justify, you free yourself from the weight of their opinions. You remind yourself that your path is your own, and your worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. Your silence is your strength, your shield, and your statement of self-respect. Live unapologetically, make your decisions boldly, and let the noise around you fade into the background. Because as the Stoics teach us, true power lies in mastering yourself, and sometimes the loudest response is no response at all. 4. The power of refusing to justify yourself. In a world where everyone seems to have an opinion about your choices, it's easy to feel cornered into explaining yourself. But let me tell you something liberating. You don't have to play that game. The next time someone questions your decisions, whether it's why you took a new job, chose a different lifestyle, or turned down an invitation, try this. Look them in the eye, smile, and simply say, that's what works for me. No elaborate justifications, no endless lists of pros and cons, no defensive explanations. That one sentence carries a kind of quiet power that most people aren't ready for, because they're expecting a debate, something they can challenge or dissect. Instead, you give them nothing to work with. And in that moment, you take control of the conversation and your life. By refusing to explain yourself, you're doing more than just shutting down a question. You're setting a boundary. You're saying, my life isn't up for debate and my choices don't need to meet anyone else's approval. There's a tremendous sense of freedom in that mindset. It's the kind of liberation that comes when you stop seeking validation from others and start trusting yourself. And trust me, it's disarming. People who come prepared to argue will often back off when they're met with calm certainty. As Marcus Aurelius once said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. When you act with integrity and confidence in your decisions, you owe no one an explanation. Boundaries are powerful tools, and here's the thing about them. They reveal the truth about people. Those who respect your boundaries will step back, acknowledging that your life is yours to live. But those who don't respect them, well, they'll reveal their true colors soon enough. That's not your burden to carry. This isn't about avoiding conflict or brushing off genuine curiosity. It's about recognizing that not everyone deserves a front-row seat to your life. You made those choices for a reason, often through careful thought, courage, and sacrifice. Perhaps it was a leap of faith, or maybe it was the result of hard lessons learned. Whatever the case, the only person who needs to fully understand your reasons is you. Most of the time, the people questioning your decisions aren't genuinely interested in understanding you. They're projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you. Maybe your bold choice challenges their comfort zone, or perhaps your independence reminds them of the risks they've been too scared to take. It's not about you, it's about them. Their questions often stem from a need to control or to make sense of your life through their lens. But here's the truth. Their opinions are not your responsibility. As Epictetus wisely noted, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. Your decision to live differently doesn't owe anyone else comfort or clarity. When you stop explaining yourself, you begin to walk in your own power. You start living with a kind of quiet confidence that doesn't waver under scrutiny. This confidence sends a message, not just to others, but to yourself, that you are in control of your life. And let's be honest, confidence like that is magnetic. It commands respect without ever demanding it. This mindset doesn't just protect your peace, it also reinforces your self-worth. When you choose not to justify yourself, you're essentially saying, I know who I am, and that's enough. You don't have to explain your values, your priorities, or your dreams to anyone who hasn't been in the trenches with you. Life is complicated enough without taking on the burden of explaining your every move to others. By living unapologetically, you're claiming your space in a world that often tries to shrink us into conformity. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on why people feel entitled to explanations in the first place. When someone questions your decisions, it's rarely out of genuine concern or curiosity. Instead, it's often a reaction to their discomfort. Your boldness might challenge their worldview, or your independence could make them uneasy about their own choices. Maybe you decided to pursue a dream that they've long since given up on, or perhaps you've chosen a path that doesn't fit their idea of success. Whatever the reason, their need for explanation is more about them than it is about you. Recognizing this dynamic allows you to take back control. You're no longer tethered to their expectations or judgments. Instead, you're free to live on your terms. And that's a powerful place to be. Every time you refuse to explain yourself, every time you choose silence over justification, you're reinforcing an important truth. You are enough. Your choices are valid because they are yours, and no one else has the right to dictate your path. At the end of the day, dealing with disrespect or unwelcome scrutiny boils down to one thing: owning your space. You don't have to apologize for who you are, justify your decisions, or engage with negativity. Instead, choose confidence over explanation, dignity over drama, and peace over chaos. As you navigate the challenges of living authentically, let these words guide you. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Prioritize your thoughts, your peace, and your purpose, and let the rest take care of itself. You're here because you're ready to take control and demand the respect you deserve. Show you're committed to this journey by commenting, "Respect starts with me." Remember, this is just the beginning of your powerful transformation. Stay tuned for more. 5. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their discomfort is not your responsibility, and your life is not a public forum requiring approval or validation from anyone. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices, and when you embrace that, you step into a kind of freedom most people never know. I'll never forget when I decided to leave a high-paying, stable job to pursue a passion that set my soul on fire. The reactions from people in my life were relentless. "Why would you leave such a secure position?" they asked. "What if it doesn't work out?" At first, I felt compelled to explain myself, breaking down my decision with detailed plans and justifications, hoping they'd understand. But no matter what I said, it was never enough. Their questions kept coming, eroding my confidence until I realized something profound. No explanation I gave would ever be enough for someone determined to doubt me. One day I decided to take a different approach. When someone asked, "Why would you leave that job?" I simply replied, "Because I wanted to." And that was it. No elaborate reasoning, no defensive arguments, just a simple, honest truth. The silence that followed was golden. They didn't know how to respond because I had taken away their power to question me further. It was in that moment I learned a valuable lesson. When you refuse to justify yourself, you reclaim your autonomy. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Living with conviction doesn't require explanation, it requires action. There's a liberation that comes with owning your truth without apology. When you stand firm in your decisions, not because they align with someone else's expectations, but because they align with your soul, you stop carrying the unnecessary burden of other people's opinions. How often do you make choices to avoid discomfort, not your own, but someone else's? How often have you silenced your dreams or changed your plans to appease the doubts of others? When you stop explaining yourself, you stop seeking external validation and start walking in the freedom of self-assurance. Boundaries are the unsung heroes of self-respect. When you refuse to explain yourself, you're drawing a line that says, "My choices are not up for debate." The beauty of boundaries is that they reveal the truth about people. Those who respect your boundaries will give you the space to live as you see fit. Those who don't, they'll expose their own insecurities and desire for control. But that's their battle, not yours. You made your choices for a reason, perhaps after deep reflection, a leap of faith, or a hard-won understanding of yourself. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Your life is your proof." It's not easy to let go of the need to explain, especially in a world where validation feels like currency. I used to be the person who felt compelled to justify every decision, crafting arguments and counter-arguments to win people over. But over time, I realized that the more I explained, the more I doubted myself. Let me share a story to illustrate this. A friend once told me about a contractor they hired to renovate their home. The contractor frequently changed their timeline, claiming that delays were due to unavailable materials. However, when my friend visited the supplier, he discovered that the materials had been ready for weeks. The contractor's story began to unravel as more inconsistencies emerged, from fake delivery issues to non-existent crew members. My friend realized that by asking pointed follow-up questions and cross-checking details, he could expose the lies and protect himself from further losses. This story is a reminder of how vigilance and persistence can help uncover the truth, even when someone works hard to hide it. When you suspect inconsistencies, don't let them slide. Pay attention to the details and ask follow-up questions. Liars often avoid specifics because specifics are harder to maintain, while the truth doesn't require effort to remember. If someone tells you they were somewhere and the timeline feels off, ask questions like, "What time did you get there?" Or, "Who else was with you?" These aren't accusations. They're tools for clarity. If the story shifts or becomes more complicated with each answer, it's a sign that something isn't right. At the same time, remain calm and composed. Confrontation driven by anger can escalate the situation, but a measured approach invites honesty. The truth is unchanging, but lies are fragile and crumble under pressure. By staying alert to inconsistencies and approaching them with curiosity rather than judgment, you can protect yourself from deceit and build stronger, more honest relationships. Notice someone avoiding your questions or giving vague answers? Comment, "Clarity matters," if you agree that the truth always shines through. Of course, not every challenge is about explaining your choices. Life is full of people whose behavior seems to test your limits. But remember this: how someone treats you says far more about them than it ever will about you. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Their unkindness, their probing questions, their judgment, it's all a reflection of their own battles, not your worth. Perhaps they're struggling with their own insecurities or lashing out because they feel stuck. It's not your responsibility to carry their pain or fix their issues. Your job is to protect your peace. When you let someone's negativity get under your skin, you hand over your power. Don't do that. Instead, practice what the Stoics call ataraxia, or unshakable calm. As Seneca advised, he who is brave is free. Freedom comes from within, from knowing that no one's opinion or behavior can dictate your happiness unless you let it. When someone questions you, criticizes you, or disrespects you, take a step back. Breathe. Let their words pass through you like wind through trees, leaving your foundation unshaken. That doesn't mean you should tolerate disrespect. Boundaries are essential. Set them with clarity and grace, and don't be afraid to walk away if someone refuses to respect them. But don't let their negativity harden you or make you bitter. Choose to rise above it, holding on to your dignity and self-respect. Forgiveness, too, can be a powerful act, not for their sake, but for your own. Letting go of resentment frees you from carrying the weight of their actions, allowing you to reclaim your energy and focus. Life will always throw difficult people your way, but here's the key. Their discomfort is not your burden, and their opinions are not your truth. Shine anyway. Live boldly, unapologetically, and without the need for validation. Remember, the only person who needs to understand your choices is you, and when you embrace that, you step into a power that no one can take away. So the next time someone questions your path, smile and say, "Because I wanted to," and let the silence that follows speak for itself. That, my friend, is how you win, not just the day, but your life. 6. Keep your distance. Let's talk about something essential yet often misunderstood: keeping your distance. At first, it might sound harsh, like you're shutting people out or abandoning relationships. But let me tell you, choosing to create space is one of the most loving, respectful things you can do for yourself. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat in the story of your life. If someone consistently disrespects you, ignores your boundaries, or drains your energy, why do they still have a VIP pass? This isn't about bitterness, drama, or holding grudges. It's about self-respect, about valuing your peace and protecting your energy from those who don't contribute positively to your journey. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." Sometimes, keeping your distance is the most powerful form of self-care. Imagine your life as an exclusive club, a sanctuary of peace and purpose. You are the gatekeeper, deciding who gets in and who needs to stay outside the ropes. This doesn't mean you stop caring about people or forget the good times you've shared. It means recognizing when someone's presence does more harm than good and taking action accordingly. If a person brings chaos instead of calm or diminishes you instead of uplifting you, it's time to reevaluate their role in your life. This isn't an act of cruelty, but one of wisdom. After all, love without respect isn't love, it's tolerance, and you deserve more than that. I learned this lesson the hard way. There was a friend of mine who loved making jokes, quick, sharp comments that seemed harmless at first. I laughed along, brushing off the sting because I valued the friendship. But over time, those jokes stopped feeling funny and started cutting deeper. I found myself bracing for the next jab, walking on eggshells to avoid becoming the punchline again. It took me a long time to see it, but when I finally did, the truth was undeniable. I was tolerating disrespect. And once I recognized that, the decision became clear. I deserved better. The shift wasn't dramatic. I didn't confront them or make a grand announcement. Instead, I simply began to limit my time with them. Slowly but surely, I created distance, and let me tell you, the difference was life-changing. The space I gained allowed me to breathe, to reflect, and to focus on relationships that truly lifted me up. Keeping your distance isn't about cutting people off with anger or resentment. It's about creating boundaries with grace. When someone drains your energy or disrespects you, you owe it to yourself to step back. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. By stepping back, you reclaim your power. You're no longer reacting to their behavior or letting their negativity dictate your emotions. Instead, you're choosing peace, clarity, and self-respect. The truth is, creating distance doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring more about yourself and your well-being. Think about the people in your life. Are they a source of light? Or do they cast shadows over your spirit? Are they lifting you higher or pulling you down? If someone consistently leaves you feeling drained, disrespected, or diminished, it might be time to reconsider their place in your inner circle. And here's an important reminder. Stepping back doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to confront them with a list of grievances or explain your reasons. This isn't about them. It's about you. Start prioritizing your energy. Spend less time with those who drain you and more with those who fill your cup. Protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. It's important to recognize that not everyone will understand your decision to create space, and that's okay. Your life isn't a democracy, and not everyone gets a vote on how you choose to live it. The people who truly care for you will respect your boundaries even if they don't fully understand them. Creating distance also allows you to invite positivity into your life. When you step away from negativity, you make room for relationships that align with your values and goals. In that space, you'll find clarity, strength, and a renewed sense of purpose. You'll attract people who respect you, support your growth, and celebrate your wins. As Seneca said, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It's necessary for living a fulfilled, meaningful life. Finally, let's talk about the confidence it takes to walk away from situations and people that no longer serve you. Confidence is intimidating to those who thrive on disrespect. When you hold your head high, when you stand tall and unapologetically own your worth, you send a powerful message. I know who I am, and I won't let anyone take that from me. Confidence disrupts the narrative of those who try to undermine you because it reveals that their words and actions have no power over you. As you cultivate this confidence, you'll notice how the opinions of others begin to fade into the background, leaving you free to focus on what truly matters, your own growth and happiness. Keep your circle tight and your boundaries tighter. Protect your energy fiercely, and don't feel guilty for stepping back when necessary. Remember, keeping your distance isn't about closing your heart. It's about opening your life to better possibilities. It's about creating space for love, respect, and joy to flourish. Stand tall, live boldly, and let your confidence shine. You owe no one an explanation for protecting your peace, and by doing so, you're living the Stoic lesson of self-respect and resilience. As you distance yourself from what no longer serves you, watch how your life transforms into a reflection of the peace and positivity you've always deserved. If you're still watching, you're serious about standing tall and owning your worth. Drop a comment with, "I walk with confidence," to let the world know you're stepping into your power. There's more inspiration waiting. Don't miss out. 7. The journey to standing tall. Let me tell you something. I didn't always know how to stand tall. There was a time in my life when I slouched, avoided eye contact, and tried to make myself smaller just to keep the peace. Every critical word, every dismissive glance felt like a reason to shrink, as though my worth depended on the approval of others. But over time, I discovered something profound. Every moment I chose to hold my head high, to meet negativity with quiet strength instead of letting it define me, I grew stronger. Each time I stood firm, it was like sending a message to myself that said, I don't need anyone's approval to feel worthy. That realization didn't just change how I carried myself, it changed my life. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Standing tall is more than just straightening your back or lifting your chin. It's about the posture of your mind. It's about walking into any room as if you belong there, because you do. It's a mindset shift, one where you stop contorting yourself to fit someone else's narrow view of who they think you should be. How many times have you felt the sting of someone's disrespect and let it eat away at your confidence? Maybe they threw a passive-aggressive comment your way, dismissed your ideas, or gave you that tone, the one that makes you feel less than. Here's the thing. Their behavior says more about them than it ever will about you. Often, they're not reacting to the real you. They're projecting their own insecurities. So, why let their words rattle your spirit? The next time someone disrespects you, whether it's with a dismissive tone, an insult, or a sly remark, pause. Don't react. Take a deep breath, pull your shoulders back, and hold your head high. Look them in the eye, not with anger, but with a calm strength that says, I see you, but I'm above this. In that moment, you'll feel something powerful, a quiet confidence and peace, born from knowing that their words don't define you. Their opinions? They're not your truth. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This isn't just philosophy. It's a way of living that protects your peace and keeps your power intact. Holding your head high is more than just good posture. It's a declaration of self-respect. When you carry yourself with dignity, you're sending a message to the world. I know who I am, and nothing you say can change that. The beauty of self-respect is that it acts as a shield, making it nearly impossible for others' negativity to stick to you. When you truly respect yourself, you set the standard for how others should treat you. Think about it. Life is too short to spend bending over backward for people who can't see your value. Self-worth is a game changer. You don't need anyone's permission to stand tall, protect your peace, or live life on your terms. People will test you. It's inevitable. They'll push your boundaries, question your choices, and try to undermine your confidence. But here's the deal. You're the one who decides what you allow into your space. You're the one who sets the standard for how you're treated. And when you focus on building your self-worth, you'll start to attract people who uplift you instead of dragging you down. Seneca, another great Stoic, once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Surround yourself with people who celebrate your growth and respect your boundaries, and watch how your life transforms. Owning your power starts with a decision. It's about standing firm in your truth and letting everything else fall into place. Let me share this with you. Confidence is magnetic, but it's also disruptive to those who thrive on disrespect. When you walk tall with your head held high, you're declaring that you are unshakable, that you know your worth and refuse to let anyone diminish it. Those who seek to tear you down will find themselves powerless, because confidence leaves no room for their negativity to take root. As the great Denzel Washington once said, "Don't aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference." And you can't make a difference when you're focused on shrinking to appease others. So here's my challenge to you. Hold your head high, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. Walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't align with your worth. Protect your peace fiercely, because it's the foundation of everything else in your life. Remember, respect starts with you. When you carry yourself with dignity, when you set boundaries and enforce them unapologetically, the world begins to mirror that respect back to you. And if someone can't meet your standard, it's not your job to lower it for them. At the end of the day, the next chapter of your life is yours to write. So make it a masterpiece. Handling disrespect isn't about being combative or aggressive. It's about standing firm in your worth and refusing to let anyone else dictate how you feel. Whether it's through a silent stare, a confident posture, or simply walking away, you have everything you need to protect your peace and reclaim your power. What to do when others look down on you. Maintaining calm will earn you respect. No matter how much you accomplish or how well you live your life, there will always be people who choose to criticize, dismiss, or even look down on you. It's an unfortunate reality, but it doesn't have to define how you see yourself or how you respond. If you've ever wondered, what should I do when others look down on me? The answer lies in composure, self-belief, and a quiet confidence that speaks louder than any words. Let me share a story to illustrate how maintaining calm can turn disrespect into respect. In the 4th year of Shi Ning, 1071, Su Shi, better known as Su Dongpo, a legendary poet and official of the Northern Song dynasty, stopped at a temple while traveling in disguise. Exhausted from his journey and dressed in plain clothes, Su Shi appeared ordinary, unremarkable even. The abbot of the temple, unaware of his guest's identity, dismissed him with casual indifference. He instructed siyl to sit without ceremony and ordered a young monk to serve him tea, specifically, a cold, leftover cup of tea. However, as their conversation unfolded, Sushir's wisdom, eloquence, and extraordinary demeanor became evident. The abbot, realizing he was speaking with someone far more significant than he'd assumed, quickly changed his approach. He invited Sushir to a private room, showed him respect, and offered him fresh tea. When he later learned he was hosting the renowned Dongpo, the abbot was so humbled that he asked Sushir for a keepsake. With a smile, Sushir composed a couplet. Sit, please take the honored seat. Tea, please serve fragrant tea. The abbot, deeply embarrassed by his initial behavior, couldn't find the words to apologize. Sushir, however, had no need for apologies. His calm and dignified composure had already turned the situation around. He didn't lose his temper or try to prove his worth through anger. Instead, his demeanor spoke volumes, leaving the abbot to reflect on his own actions. This story serves as a powerful reminder. Your worth is not defined by the judgments or careless words of others. True value comes from consistent growth, self-respect, and unwavering character. Sushir's calm, elevated demeanor didn't just diffuse the situation, it earned him respect. Similarly, in life, when you refuse to let negativity dictate your emotions, you rise above it, showing others that their words cannot diminish your worth. Psychologists have long noted that being looked down on can harm self-esteem, leading to feelings of inadequacy or worthlessness. These emotions, if left unchecked, can weigh heavily on your mental well-being. But here's the truth. While you're replaying those negative remarks in your mind, the person who made them has likely moved on, completely unbothered. Why let their thoughtlessness linger in your heart? As Russian author Ivan Turgenev wisely said, believe in yourself first and others will believe in you. If you don't respect yourself, how can you expect others to do the same? Confidence is a shield against the judgments of others. It doesn't mean arrogance or dismissiveness. It means knowing your worth and not allowing external opinions to shake it. How do you cultivate this confidence? By being patient, allowing time and your actions to speak for themselves. Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn through consistency, integrity, and quiet strength. When you believe in your own value, criticism becomes background noise rather than a defining force in your life. How often do you let the opinions of others dictate your feelings or choices? Maybe a coworker's dismissive tone made you second-guess your abilities. Perhaps a friend's offhand remark left you feeling small. What if instead of internalizing those moments, you paused and reminded yourself of your true worth? The next time someone looks down on you, don't react with anger or defensiveness. Instead, meet their negativity with calm. Hold your head high, not to prove them wrong, but to affirm your own dignity. As Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In life, we face countless situations where our self-worth is tested. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague publicly questions your ideas. Instead of snapping back, take a breath and respond with composed confidence. Let your actions and ideas speak for themselves. Or consider a social situation where someone's comments make you feel undervalued. Instead of retreating or over-explaining, simply smile and let your quiet self-assurance carry the moment. These small acts of composure not only protect your peace but also leave a lasting impression on others. Always stay true to yourself. Laugh freely when you feel joy, cry without shame when you're moved, and don't let anyone else dictate your emotions. You are the master of your inner world, and by owning your feelings, you take charge of your life. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not to prove anything to those who doubt you, but to fulfill your own potential. When you choose self-improvement over validation, you're not just responding to disrespect, you're transcending it. This mindset doesn't just deflect negativity, it transforms it into an opportunity for growth and empowerment. So, what can you take away from all of this? First, remember that respect starts within. If you cultivate self-respect, others will see it and mirror it back to you. Second, don't let negativity occupy space in your mind. The more you focus on your goals, values, and personal growth, the less power others' opinions will hold over you. Finally, know that true confidence isn't loud or boastful. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. When you walk through life with this kind of confidence, you'll find that those who once looked down on you will start to look up to you. Life is full of moments that challenge your self-worth, but how you respond defines who you are. The next time someone crosses the line, pause and remember, their words don't define you, your actions and character do. Maintain your calm, hold on to your dignity, and continue moving forward with strength and purpose. In the end, your life is your own, and it's up to you to live it with pride and resilience. After all, as the saying goes, the best revenge is massive success. Let your success and your unwavering composure be the ultimate response to anyone who dares to look down on you. And that's just the start of mastering the art of self-respect and calm in the face of disrespect. Remember, you have the power to rise above negativity and command the respect you deserve, starting with how you see yourself. If today's insights resonated with you, show some love by liking this video and sharing it with someone who needs this message. Don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in Your Life and hit the notification bell so you're first in line for more life-changing lessons and powerful motivation. Thanks for being part of this journey. See you in the next video, where we'll keep growing stronger together.